She checked her purse again, even though she already knew what was inside: one crumpled $5 bill, a bus card with 2 rides left, and a folded note with the restaurant address written in careful handwriting, as if neat letters could somehow make the evening less terrifying. The restaurant was everything she was not: polished wood floors, white tablecloths so crisp they looked ironed by perfection itself, soft golden lights that whispered money without ever saying it out loud. She almost turned around at the door, her hand hovering on the handle, heart thudding with the weight of embarrassment and hope fighting inside her chest. But then she remembered why she had come: her mother's hospital bill, the eviction notice taped crookedly to their apartment door, and the promise she had made to herself that she would stop running from chances just because they scared her. The blind date had been arranged by a coworker who swore the man was nice and understanding, words that sounded gentle but meant nothing until proven. She sat down at the smallest table near the window, folded her hands in her lap to hide the tremble, and prayed the menu wouldn't give her away before the man arrived. Across the room, unnoticed by her, a man in a tailored suit sat at another table, pretending to focus on the untouched glass of water in front of him while his eyes drifted back to her again and again, not with judgment, but with something closer to recognition. He was a CEO, the kind who signed papers worth millions before breakfast, but tonight his thoughts were heavy with a different kind of math: school schedules, packed lunches, bedtime stories, and the quiet loneliness that came after his daughter fell asleep and the house went still. When the waitress approached the young woman's table, the man at the next table noticed how she stiffened, how her fingers tightened around the menu like it was a shield. "Just water, please," she said softly, her voice apologetic, and he saw the way her cheeks warmed with shame. He had seen that look before, years ago, when he had been a struggling intern with a newborn and a bank account that echoed when opened. He watched as she scanned the room, clearly waiting for someone who wasn't coming, checking her phone and then the door, hope thinning with every passing minute. 20 minutes passed, then 30. The waiter returned, asking gently if she was ready to order, and she hesitated too long, her eyes darting to the prices she clearly couldn't afford. "I'm still waiting," she whispered, and when the waiter walked away, she swallowed hard, blinking back tears she refused to let fall in public. The CEO's phone buzzed with an email he didn't read, because all he could see was the way she pulled the $5 bill from her purse, smoothing it on the table as if preparing for surrender. When the waiter returned again, she finally spoke the truth, voice trembling but brave. "I'm sorry. I think I've been stood up. Could I just pay for the water?" The waiter smiled kindly and shook his head, but the damage was done. She felt small, exposed, and foolish for believing tonight could be anything other than another reminder of her place in the world. That was when the man at the next table stood up, his chair moving just enough to catch her attention. He walked over calmly, not rushed, not pitying, and spoke with a warmth that surprised them both. "Excuse me," he said, "I couldn't help noticing you've been waiting a long time. If you don't mind, would you join me for dinner? No expectations. Just company." Her first instinct was to refuse, pride flaring despite her situation, but something in his eyes, steady, sincere, tired in a way that felt honest, made her pause. "I can't afford this place," she said quietly, bracing herself for embarrassment. He smiled, not the polished smile of a businessman, but a soft one, almost shy. "Neither could I, once. Tonight, I can. Let me pay it forward." Against her better judgment, she nodded, and as she moved to his table, the room seemed to breathe differently. Conversation came slowly at first, then more easily, words filling the space where loneliness had sat for too long. She told him about working 2 jobs, about caring for her mother, about learning how to stretch $5 into something that looked like a meal. He told her about losing his wife, about learning how to braid hair and pack lunches, about success that looked impressive from the outside but felt hollow without someone to share it with. When the food arrived, she ate carefully, almost reverently, as if each bite mattered more than taste, and he watched her not with pity, but with admiration for the quiet strength it took to survive without bitterness. Halfway through the meal, his phone buzzed again, his daughter's babysitter texting that she couldn't sleep without hearing his voice. He excused himself, stepping aside to whisper reassurance into the phone, and she saw a side of him no suit could hide: a father, gentle and present, prioritizing love over everything else. When he returned, she smiled at him with a warmth that surprised them both. "You don't have to stay," she said. "I don't want to keep you from her." He shook his head. "This is exactly where I want to be." At the end of the night, when the bill came, she instinctively reached for her purse, then laughed softly at herself, the sound carrying relief instead of shame this time. He paid, not with a flourish, but with quiet ease, and walked her to the door, the city lights reflecting off the glass like a promise. Outside, she thanked him, meaning more than the meal, meaning the dignity he had given her when she needed it most. He hesitated, then handed her a card, not with his title emblazoned across it, just his name and number. "If you'd like," he said, "I'd love to see you again. Somewhere with fewer tablecloths." She smiled, really smiled, and nodded. Weeks later, she would learn who he truly was, the headlines and net worth and boardrooms, but by then it wouldn't matter, because she had already met the men behind the success, the one who noticed a girl with $5 and chose kindness without expecting anything in return. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe that small moments can change lives and kindness still exists in unexpected places, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more powerful, emotional stories like this are waiting for you, stories that remind us all that hope can begin with something as simple as sharing a table.